This is actually the worst rated PlayStation 5 exclusive to date. Hey folks, welcome back to Game Garbage, where we take a look at games, chat about the gaming news in the industry, and of course stream for fun. Today we're talking about Code Violet, and the game is finally released from Team Media. And yeah, I've been waiting for this since July of last year. And yeah, it's been delayed 6 months and probably helped the game a little bit, but boy, it doesn't really seem to be that much. As you can see on the screen, the scores are horrible. And as the days tick by, the scores get worse. It's certainly possible, to be fair, that people are maybe now just dogging on this game. But we're going to go into why, honestly. But yeah, 32 from actual critics. And then we have 163 users at a 2.4. This is actually the worst rated PlayStation 5 exclusive to date. And yeah, this is awful. This even did worse than Quantum Error did, made by the same people. And yeah, it's way worse. And even less people are actually reviewing it. There's more player reviews. But yeah, this again was a PlayStation 5 exclusive. This was 3 years ago. 2 years ago, excuse me. And man, it's just brutal. But yeah, let's keep digging into the story. OpenCritic has a 39 and a 9% for user reviews. This means that with the 9%, there's at least 20 people that have actually reviewed the game. But yeah, this is awful. Let's read some of these. Code Violet is not worth recommending to survival horror fans. None of the elements work to make it stand out in a crowded space, and this one is going to be forgotten quite easily. Well, maybe not. We're going to get into that too. You'd be wise to save your cash for another 2026 offering. Code Violet is not Dino Crisis successor you may have hoped for. It doesn't even clear the bar of being a successful clone of the various other third-party shooters it cribs most of its ideas from. Code Violet is a mess. Crummy combat, tedious exploration, technical problems, the sexy costumes, and horny camera work seem at odds with both Violet as a character and tone of the writing. Even at 6 hours long, it's only 6 hours. It's tough to recommend, because in 6 hours you can just watch Jurassic Park 3 times. And if you did that, you'd never once feel the need to justify what's currently on the screen. As a self-proclaimed torchbearer of one of the industry's cult classics, Code Violet fails to meet the standards or even do a decent job of representing the action horror survival genre. Its weak gunplay, baffling art direction, rough animations, and even more confusing plot serve as a reminder that maybe some things should be left untouched. And the reviews just keep getting worse. Again, people that put out their video just yesterday or the day before, this was like at a 40 and like a 2.8 or something like that, and it just keeps going down. It is reviewing roughly at like a 2.8, 2.9 out of 5 on the PlayStation Store. But the thing that I really want to talk about is, like, while we've seen some of the gameplay here, it's pretty rough and brutal, and this is what they show. And like it's okay. But, too, the game was also delayed 3 different times. This was supposed to come out in July. Last minute, they delayed it to November. And then they delayed it to December. And then we finally had the release of January 2026. And this is just absolutely hilarious to me, because this is like some of the better footage that can actually be shown in the game. And not everything absolutely makes sense. And there's something else too. I won't show too much of this. It's right here. This is hilarious. You could just see that the animation just looks totally wrong, totally off. And I don't know if this is purposefully sped up or not. It kind of looks that way, but yow, is that awful. Oh my word. And then, this is a $50 game from TeamKill Media, but then we also have games, this is Game Ranks, by the way, we also have games like Expedition 33, still made in the same engine, by the way, and are roughly about a year apart from a release. And this is just a totally different game. And again, this was done by 30 people. To be fair, TeamKill Media has 4. And apparently they've been working pretty hard. And I don't necessarily doubt that. But the fact that they only have 4 people working on the game means that this game is, Code Violet is pretty cheap to make. But yeah, there's definitely a lot more effort put into this $50 game here. And I think charging $50 for Code Violet is just atrocious. We also, too, have Mafia the Old Country, which is another $50 game. And while it's not as big as like some of the other Mafia games, this is actually a pretty good $50 experience. Again, shorter, just like Code Violet. But again, the effort put into it and the quality is definitely there. And it's maybe not the best quality that they've made, right, in the Mafia series, but this is still pretty good, and people have praised the game quite a bit, and it's been pretty good. But yeah, again, just the combat and engagement, being able to use cover, the texture work, the character designs, the animations. It is just a totally different game again for $50. And then yeah, we have something like this. And it's just like, what is this? Like a simple floor. There's some purple mist on the ground here, and it's just wild to me that this is happening. And this is their second attempt. I mean, they've made some other games that basically nobody knows about, but this is their second attempt because we already had Quantum Error, and Quantum Error is actually reviewed better. And Quantum Error in 23 was actually seen as one of the worst games. We also have, too, some of the developers were saying that, no, they weren't going to have a PC port because they didn't want vulgar mods, which is kind of crazy. Let me read this. For those asking us about PC version of Code Violet, the reason we are not bringing it to PC is we do not want anyone modding vulgar versions of the main character as well as other characters in the game. We hold our voice actresses and actors with high regard, as well as our artistic version for the game story, and reject any form of destroying that with sexual mods. Well, and then we have this. So they made that post last year, and this is actually this was actually 5 months ago. This is the announcement trailer, release date announcement trailer, saying that it's going to be in November, and we have this. And it's like, what are you guys doing? Like, this clearly is sexualized. I mean, clearly. I mean, okay, these look kind of nice, whatever, but it's like these, and this is the deluxe edition, ultimately. But this is clearly sexualized. I mean, the cleavage and the amount of skin showing and thighs, and I mean, come on. Like, what are we doing here? That just seems totally like talking out of both sides of your mouth. This too, there's other things that other outfits you can find in the game. There's even some guides now to basically find every single outfit, and they're all kind of sexualized toward that way. A lot of them are, just like this one. Even though she's completely covered up, the way it's designed is, for the gooners, right? And isn't that what they were trying to avoid? And yeah, this is wild to me. It's like, that doesn't make any sense at all. We also, too, we have people that are getting copyright struck for criticizing the game in one aspect or another, which is fair. I mean, you can criticize, you can have your opinion, same as anybody else. And, if you can't handle the criticism, maybe you shouldn't be making a product or a service. Because anybody can leave reviews now on anything. Everybody knows that. And yeah, these are videos by 8-Bit, Words of Paradise, and Smash JT. Whether you don't like them or you love them, whatever, it doesn't really matter to me. But just the fact that these are definitely bigger YouTubers, and they've only gotten so many views. They haven't even gotten 100 views in the last, half a day, last day, which is wild and crazy to me because they should definitely be getting a lot more than that. But again, stuff has been copyright struck, and the algorithm changes for copyright content, and they got to deal with that. And I mean, it's kind of a mess. And other people, smaller YouTubers, are complaining about this too. It doesn't seem to. I wonder if mine will. I don't know. We'll have to see, because I'll be releasing this on the 14th. But it's like, if you can't handle the criticism, just don't release the game. Just don't make a product or a service. Seriously. It's kind of insane. People are also complaining, too, that they can't get refunds. And this is kind of the PSA to the other big publishers or the other console companies, because, yeah, PlayStation is basically telling people that want a refund for them from the game, oh, well, it's fine, it's good enough, and it works and it functions like a game, and so, no, we're not going to give you a refund. And so people are pretty frustrated about this because, yeah, they feel like they wasted their $50. Again, the other examples that we had, that is definitely worth $50, but not for something like this. The quality is way lower. And again, it's not that maybe the 4 devs are not trying, but it's just that it's 4 devs trying to make a game in Unreal Engine 5. And it looks like an asset flip, okay? That's not necessarily approved of or appreciated, right? Especially for a $50 game. That's kind of insane. And so, yeah, PlayStation's policy, the game has to be broken, and it's really hard to actually get a refund. And Nintendo and Xbox are even worse. Basically, it states in their policies that unless it is required by law, then they're not really going to bother. And that's an issue, because people then can make these games, they can make some slop, which each console manufacturer, PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo, they've all been accused of having slop on their store and on their platform and stuff. And again, they just want to make some money. They get some fees from selling this garbage. And but again, it doesn't protect the consumer. And I feel like this is partly why, over the last decade, why people and channels and other VTubers have been talking about, hey, don't pre-order. Okay, wait to see what the game is like, because it feels like, to a degree, it is getting worse. That games are just made for the bottom line, for the money. They're not made for the experience or with the players in mind. And of course, that's not everybody. But it does seem to be getting worse with the amount of content and games that's being put on stores that really doesn't necessarily make a ton of sense. And even if they are cheap, they are slop. I mean, let's be real. And again, this has been something that players have been complaining about for some time. And again, nothing has really been done about it. And so this is why people don't want to pre-order. This is why people don't want to spend their money. They'd rather wait for someone else to spend it that has a channel or that can be financially supported. And while they will make sales, they're not screwing players over with stuff in the game. And this is why, too, I have my channel today, Gaming Garbage. I really think gaming has gone to garbage compared to where it was, and not just over the last 20 years, but even over just the last 5. Like games that released in 2019 or 2020. And today, man, it just feels so much worse to me. Again, there's storefronts, live service pushes, asset flips. Again, just trying to make more money, doing the remasters instead of making actual games again. I mean, yeah, nobody really likes the gaming industry right now. There's still some stuff to like, of course, but it's just gotten really bad. But if PlayStation and Xbox and Nintendo want to continue to compete in a place where more people are going over to PC and Steam, by the way, just hit another record. 42 million daily active users. Every, 3-6 months, they're hitting a new record of daily active users on their platform. Or maybe that's monthly active users. I can't remember. I apologize. I didn't pull it up. But yeah, they are breaking records for their platform on how many people are jumping on at any given time. And that just means ultimately more people are going over to Steam, more people are spending time over there, and it's because the console companies can't necessarily compete. And this is one of the issues. The refund policy for Steam is roughly under 2 hours within the first 2 weeks of you purchasing the game. And you can get a full refund, which is great. But again, if you know your game is garbage, if you know your game is trash, or that people are going to want a bunch of refunds for buying it, well, then you're not going to want to release it on PC and Steam, are you? Probably not. Now, the reason why we don't have an Xbox version is because they've said that, well, they can't basically make it for the Series S, and we've heard that before, and ultimately that ends up being a skill issue. And while it is more difficult, yes, it is a cheaper option for players, and I think players should have a cheaper option. But I agree, too, that Xbox needs to have some kind of a program to make it easier to actually make their games. And now they've done that. So now they've released what used to be under NDA. You can have an entire thing now all free and open to the public of how to basically get your game onto the platform and be able to work with Xbox to get your game on there. And that's great. That's making it a little easier, but I think there needs to be some specialists that also help game developers, small or big, to basically help it run on the Series S. Because Larian Studios has complained about that, along with some other bigger dependent or independent studios. So yeah, and I think that'll also probably be the same thing when we get the next gen Xbox. We're going to have a really beefy version, which will be easy to make games for, and then we're going to have a weaker version, just like we do now. That makes sense to me. So yeah, this game, Code Violet, I've been waiting for this because it is ultimately a brutal mess. And the thing that is frustrating is, again, they have the ability to make something better. They say that they made plenty of money with Quantum Error just through the pre-orders. So either the game is extremely cheap to make and they'll make money regardless, or they just had a ton of pre-orders. But, they're building their reputation, folks. TeamKill Media has to be careful because in a economy, whether the countries of the world deem recession or not, there needs to be an acknowledgement from publishers that it's like, yeah, times are hard for people. People are pulling back and they don't have as much money to spend. And they're not going to necessarily spend money on this when they can buy Expedition 33 or Mafia: The Old Country for the same price. And I guarantee you, in probably a couple of months, we'll see Code Violet discounted. Because they're just not going to be getting any sales. Maybe 3 months, but it's going to be soon, right? It's going to be very soon. I'm guessing March is when we'll actually see some discounts. But yeah, I get tired of these type of games because they're just screwing the player. Okay, I understand, again, it's for people. But maybe you shouldn't try to make a AA or AAA game. And then, the marketing. Oh, it's like Dino Crisis is the successor to Dino Crisis. Maybe that was not TeamKill's intention. Maybe the media ran with that. But either way, players have expectations, and when you don't meet them, you're going to get shat on. And that's just what's going to happen. But what do you guys think? Are you frustrated with just how stuff like this is going and how we just seem to have more games? Because this is game mill quality, almost. I mean, game mill is pretty bad. Of course, it looks better than this. But this reminds me of game mill. And it just looks awful. It really looks like not that much effort. Maybe they put in a lot of effort, but maybe they just need some more people that know what they're doing. And what are they going to do when Unreal Engine 6 comes out? They got a whole new engine they need to learn. What happens when the next gen comes out? Again, they got a whole another set of consoles to learn if they want to. And 2, just the marketing as well, with just saying that this is an exclusive, as if this is like a premium product, that this is sanctioned by PlayStation. No, they just wanted to make a game on PlayStation, and they've done that twice now. And that's just what TeamKill Media wants to do. They almost feels like they want to be associated with exclusivity. It just seems like a bad joke. It really does. And again, while PlayStation is a good place to play games, it's not the only place to play games. And consoles are losing out, and Xbox is still there with over 33 million console players. And it's not as big, but it's like the console wars are over, guys. Exclusivity is dying, and this doesn't help. So thanks for tuning in, folks. You can always find me at GamingGarbage22 over at YouTube. We have various content every week, me, myself, and I. And if something isn't for you, you can just skip right on through and wait for the next thing. That's totally okay. If you like particular content where there's playlists for all of that, including the playthroughs, you can also follow me over at Twitch if you'd like at Don't Tread on Thee. And yeah, when I'm playing video games, to definitely chat with you guys. Just let me know that you guys are in the chat. If you'd rather be a silent partner, hey, that's totally okay too. You can just sit there and watch. Currently, we're going through Dead Space. Thank you guys for voting. We're going through Dead Space 1, 2, and 3, and then the remake on Permadeath. And then, and I'll post on YouTube about a day or a couple days before of when I'm actually going to be able to be streaming. Also, too, you guys voted for The Expanse Osiris Reborn for my game to fully review this year. And so, yeah, we don't have a release date yet, but that will be coming later this year. If that doesn't come out, the next runner-up is Lords of the Fallen 2. And regardless, we will be playing and reviewing a game this year. And there'll be some other games, too. We're going to have Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis, the reboot for Tomb Raider 1. We're also going to have Ace Combat 8. We're going to have Roadside Research. That we're going to be playing that with Lion Chaser. And yeah, there'll be some other games too that I can't remember off the top of my head. So yeah, it's going to be a fun year, guys. So with that, folks, I'll see you guys on the next one.